Greetings, Gary Baumgarten here, sometimes referred to as Reporter Gary, with my second ever vlog. And I asked you for feedback yesterday, didn't I? And I got a lot of it. First of all, I want to appreciate those of you who made the encouraging comments to me, both here on YouTube and on Facebook, where I cross-posted yesterday's chat with you. A suggestion from Ruth in Demarest, New Jersey, that I talk about an issue that's very disconcerting, and I'd like to say I'm happy to oblige. I'm not happy to oblige in a way, because I'm not happy about what's been going on in our societies with regard to the rise of anti-Semitism. You know, there's hardly a day when I'm at work that I do not put into one of my shows a story about anti-Semitism. It's not that I'm looking for it, it just pops out at me all the time. And obviously I'm not going to avoid it when I see it. And sometimes I feel like it's almost overwhelming. I feel like I'd like to put it in perspective. So let me try to do that with a story that just came out about the rise of anti-Semitism on the campuses here in the United States. A 70% spike last year, according to a watchdog group, much of it in the form of anti-Israel harassment of Jewish students. Meaning, and I've got some notes here, I wanted to make sure I had the figures correct, meaning that it's not the traditional anti-Semitism. The anti-Semitism is based around the state of Israel. The students are asked or demanded upon them in a threatening manner sometimes, certainly in an uncomfortable manner, to answer for what's going on in Israel, as if they have something to do with the political decisions that occur in Israel. Why should they be singled out in the way that they are? They ought not to be. And it's because there's a segment of our community, our society, that can't separate the two. Can't separate the policies of the state of Israel from Jewish people. And this is why so many Jews say, instinctively or based on personal experience, that oftentimes criticism of the state of Israel, which everybody has the right to criticize any country, oftentimes crosses over into anti-Semitism. A 70% increase. And I want to tell you anecdotally about a story that just happened to coincide with the release of these figures. There is a young lady, a student at Hofstra University, a lot of Jewish students at Hofstra, by the way, and she is an Orthodox Jew, identifiably religiously Jewish. And she has had several instances there of clearly anti-Semitic actions taken toward her. It started out her very first day there, when she was moved into a dorm, 3 other roommates. They asked for a transfer out because they didn't want to be with that girl, because she's different from the rest of us. Are you kidding me? In 2019, at a university, that this is an attitude? But wait, it gets even worse. She recently went to her professor, or a professor, and told that professor, I just want to give you a heads up, I'm not going to be here for the Jewish high holy days. The professor said that maybe she should reevaluate her religious beliefs. Sorry about the pregnant pause there. I wanted to make sure I quoted it properly. Reevaluate her religious beliefs. And shortly after the Tree of Life killings of Jews inside a synagogue in Pittsburgh, another professor asked a class, she says, to discuss whether the gunman was truly evil. These are professors now. These are not students. These are professors. By the way, it's not just here in the United States of America. Not too long ago, there was a man wearing a kippah, a yarmulke, a religious skull cap, with his wife on the tube, a subway in England. And a guy came up, and it was all captured, of course, because somebody pulled out their cell phone. So this is not a he said, she said kind of a situation. A guy confronted him very aggressively, asking him to justify the actions of the state of Israel. This is not good, ladies and gentlemen. It's not good that overall anti-Semitism is rising. It's not good that people who are identifiably Jewish, religious Jews, on a regular basis get attacked in Brooklyn, where there's a huge concentration of religious Jews. Now, I don't want to overstate the situation. I'm not suggesting that we're on the verge of another Holocaust, but I will point out that the Jews of Germany felt like they were Germans. And they felt that they were accepted and part of society. How well did that go for them in the era of the Nazis? Not very well at all. And I know that many of my Orthodox Jewish friends felt that they were safe in their communities here in the New York, New Jersey area. And that none of this stuff that for many of them is in the history books, none of this stuff was going to happen to them. But it is. And this happens over and over again to the Jewish people. Now, I know there are some people who will say it's the fault of Donald Trump. Other people will say it's the fault of the Democratic Party. I will tell you, in my exhaustive coverage and research of this issue, I can tell you that anti-Semitism comes from many directions. It comes from some people on the radical right. It comes from some people on the radical left. And, unfortunately, it comes from some people from the radical Muslim religion. Now, I'm not attacking Muslims by any stretch of the imagination, nor am I attacking Democrats or Republicans, people on the left or people on the right. I'm just saying that the threat, you can't just say, well, it's a couple of members of Congress and their comments, or it's the president and his comments, or it's radical Muslims. For Jews, the threat comes from many directions. It's not good. I wish I could say I have an answer for it. I don't. I guess the best I can do is, when I'm aware of it, report it in the hopes that it causes for there to be greater public awareness for the problem. Now, listen, I'm not just, by the way, reporting when this happens to Jews. I happen to be in a position where I've been able to report when there are attacks on Muslims and on Christians. Earlier this week, I did a story about 3 Christian churches in Texas that were vandalized terribly with words like lies and stuff like that. Somebody really has a problem with Christians there, and we see where Christians come under attack in many areas of the world. Generally, it happens around Easter or Christmas time. I guess because there's such a high concentration of Christians in the churches at those times. I don't think we're in a position where we need to panic if we are a member of a group that feels threatened. But I think that we need to all be prudent, and we have to watch out for one another. Now, I'll tell you something. I'll leave this on a positive note. I want to go back to that gentleman who was being harassed on the tube, on the subway in England. The best part of that video was when other people, non-Jews, who observed what was going on, stood up and defended him and told that guy to shut up and sit down, to quote Chris Christie, the former governor of New Jersey. They were appalled by the way he was treated, and they took action. When we see this kind of discrimination, whether it's anti-Semitism or against Christians or against Muslims or against people because of the color of their skin, whatever reason, their gender identity, whatever it may be, it is up to those of us who are not targeted to speak out. Anyway, I'm open for suggestion on what else we can do to help prevent this kind of thing, this kind of rise of anti-Semitism that is going on. Do we need greater education in the schools? Is this something that the schools should be doing? I don't know. I have some thoughts, but I don't have any definitive conclusions. Please, at the bottom here, tell me what you think in the comments. I really like the fact that already I'm starting to engage with my viewers, and I'd like to kind of continue that. And as I said yesterday, I'm going to show for myself here. Please subscribe. Hit the alarm button so you get notified the next time I put one of these together. And if you like it, give me a thumbs up. And if you hate it, hey, give me a thumbs down. Until next time, peace out.